Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on Vroom's expectancy theory of motivation. So here is a picture of Victor Vroom. So Vroom's expectancy theory of motivation. So this theory suggests that motivation is determined by how much we want something and how likely we think we are get it. So it suggests that motivation is determined by how much we want something and how likely we think we are to get it. So Rome's expectancy theory of motivation. Introduction. Rome's expectancy theory was proposed by Victor H. Vroom in 1964 as part of his work and motivation. So the book name of the room is Work and Motivation. So unlike content theories of motivation such as Maslow's or Hertzberg theories, which focus on what motivates individuals, Room's theory is a process theory. It explains how and why individuals make decisions about their behavior based on expected outcomes. So why individuals make decisions about their behavior based on expected outcomes? This theory assumes that people are rational decision makers. So this theory assumes that people are rational decision makers who choose to act in a certain way if they believe their effort will lead to desirable rewards. So rational decision makers are those makers who act rationally, means who make decision based on reason and logic rather than emotion or impulsiveness. So a rationality involves considering the potential consequences of your action and choose the one that is most likely to help you achieve your goals. So rationally means act reasonably or logically. So this theory assumes that people are rational decision makers who choose to act in a certain way if they believe that their efforts will lead to desirable rewards. Core assumptions of Room's theory. Room's theory is based on three key assumptions. First is individuals have different sets of goals and desire. So first assumption is that individuals have different sets of goal and desires. So every individual have different sets of goal and desires, and the second is that the individual make conscious choices among alternatives to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. So individual make conscious choices, the choices that they are well aware of. So they make well aware choices among alternatives to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. So they have multiple choices among alternatives and they choose that alternative which maximize their pleasure and minimize their pains. And third is that motivation is the result of how much an individual wants a reward. Like valence. So in Room's theory of motivation, reward is called valence. So motivation is the result of how much an individual wants a reward. How much an individual wants a reward. So the belief that effort will lead to performance. So if someone put their effort, then it will definitely he will get reward according to his effort. So that effort will lead to performance. So when he put more effort, then his performance is automatically boost up or increases. So performance is also called expectancy in Room's theory of motivation. So motivation is the result of how much an individual wants a reward, the belief that effort will lead to performance, and the belief that performance will lead to reward, like instrumentality. So in Vroom's theory of motivation, reward is called instrumentality. So it definitely, when an individual motivates to want a reward, then he will definitely put his effort. Then he will put his, if he put his effort, then his performance will boost up, and if his performance is boost up, then it will definitely he will get a reward of his performance. So motivation is the result of how much an individual wants a reward, the belief that effort will lead to performance, and the belief that performance will lead to reward. So key components of the theory. Vroom identified three main components that interact to determine motivation. First is expectancy. Expectancy is that effort will lead to performance. So the belief that increased effort will lead to better performance. So definitely, if a person and if an individual increases effort, then it will definitely he will perform better. So it is a very obvious sentence. So the question in implies mind that if I work hard, will I achieve the desired performance level? So a question arises in an implies mind that if I work hard, will I achieve the desired performance level? So the question is very obvious and very straightforward. Definitely, if he work hard, then he will definitely get the desired performance level. Example is a salesperson. Example, a salesperson believes that making more client calls will lead to more sale. Definitely, if a salesperson, if a call center employee making more calls to client to attract the clients for purchasing the service of the company, then if a salesperson making more calls, then might be possible that 60% of the client will respond and purchase the service from the company. So it might be possible. It might be possible that out of 100%, maybe 40% will respond and purchase the service, and might be possible that 70% clients might be interested to purchase the service, and might be possible that 80 to 90% customers will respond and purchase the service from the company. So the influencing factors. Influencing factor are self-confidence, self-efficacy, available of resources, clarity of job requirement, and support from supervisor. So the factor that influence to increase performance, to increase the effort, these are four factors. These are four factors like self-confidence, availability of resources, clarity of job requirement, and support from supervisor. So self-confidence, self-efficacy mean that the belief in one's ability, the believes in one's individual ability the belief in one individual ability to succeed in specific task and achieve goal. So self-efficacy is a measure of confidence in your own skills and capacity to perform action required to produce certain outcome. So self-efficacy is also called self-assurance, self-belief, self-faith, and self-confidence. So self-efficacy is the belief in your capacity to organize and execute the action needed to achieve a particular goal. So it influences your motivation, perseverance, and resilience when facing challenges. So if these factors are present in any individual, like if a person is self-belief and self-confidence in self, then his performance will definitely boost up. And if an individual or employee have all the resources to fulfill his job, then it will definitely boost up his performance. And if a company, if an employee is very sure and clear about his job requirements, then he will definitely, his performance will boost up. And if an individual has a support from supervisor in every step, then it will definitely increase the increase the performance of that individual. Key components of the theory. Rooms identified three main components that interact to determine motivation. The second is instrumentality. Instrumentality means a performance lead to reward. The definition is the belief that good performance will be recognized and rewarded. So it's very obvious and straightforward that this belief that if an employee has a good performance and has performed well, then he will definitely, he will be recognized in the company, and he will get rewarded. So question in implies mind that if I perform well, will I receive a reward? So definitely this question arises in every employee mind, that if I perform well, will I receive a reward? So definitely, if he perform well, then he will definitely get a reward. So example is, an employee believes that achieving sales target will result in a promotion. So definitely, if an employee believes that if he will achieve his sales target, then definitely it will result in increase in sales, increase in salary, and it will definitely, he will get promotion from the top level management. So definitely, it's very obvious and straightforward. The influencing factors are trust in management, transparency of reward system, policies like performance to outcomes. So definitely, if the management trust in any particular employee, then the employee confidence level will boost up, and he will perform well. He thinks that the management, management has put trust on him, and management think that this individual is a very great asset for the company, and he will definitely, and the management think that this individual will be beneficial for the profitability of the company, for the growth of the company. Then it will definitely increase the morale of that individual, and he will perform well, and definitely he will get rewarded. And the second is transparency of reward system. So transparency of reward system means the open and honest communication of how rewards are earned, allocated, and structured. So ensuring employees understand the criteria, processes, and reasoning behind compensation and recognition. So this foster trust by making the system clear and fair, and allows employees to see how their performance and contribution are linked to their reward, and to make informed decision about their career. Definitely, if it's a transparency in the reward system, then it will definitely foster trust by making the system clear and fair, and allow employees to see how their performance and contribution are linked to their reward, and to make informed decisions about their career. And the policies linking performance to outcome. So definitely, if the policies that the companies introduce in the organization, that will be followed by every individual, every employee, and these policies are the set of rules and regulations that every individual has to follow these regulations. And if every employee follow these rules and regulations, and work and perform in the boundary of the regulation, then it will definitely boost up the performance of that individuals. And if the performance is if the performance of any individual boost up, then it will definitely acquire the desired results. If the results, outcomes mean results, and if the results are better, then it will definitely improve the profitability of the company, and or improve the growth of the company. So valence means value of reward. So definition, the value or attractiveness an individual places on a reward. So what value or attractiveness an individual place on a reward? What value an individual should be given to a reward? So question implies mind that do I value the reward being offered? So a question arises in any employee that do I value the reward, or or I don't value the reward being offered. So do I value the reward being offered? So implies a question arises in the mind, should I value the reward being offered, or should I don't value the reward being offered? So definitely an employee has to value the reward being offered. So influencing factors are personal needs and goal, individual performance, and perceived fairness of the rewards. So valence, value of reward. So definition is the value or attractiveness an individual places on a reward. Question in employee mind, do I value reward being offered? Example, a monetary bonus may have high valence for some employee, while flexible working hours may have higher valence for others. So a monetary bonus must have high valence for every employee, in my opinion. So, but in this theory, a monetary balance may have high valence for some employee and may not have high valence for some employee, while flexible working hours may have higher valence for some employees, or for flexible working hours may have not higher valence for others employees. So influencing factor are personal needs and goal, individual performance, individual preferences, what the individual prefer, should the individual uh, prefer the reward, or should the individual not prefer the reward, and and the perceived fairness of the reward, and how much value, uh, how much value a individual should given to the reward, and what extent to a value an individual should be given to the reward. So motivation is equal to expectancy multiplied by valence multiplied by instrumentality. It's a mathematical representation that motivation is equal to the multiplication of expectancy multiplied by valence multiplied by instrumentality. So it's a mathematical model. So Vroom express motivation as a multiplicative function of all of these three components. That motivation is equal to expectancy multiplied by valence multiplied by instrumentality. So if any one of these component is zero, the motivation will also be zero. Definitely when we do mathematics, when we multiply any figure to zero, then the resulting figure must be zero. For example, 100 multiply 1000 multiply 10,000 multiply by 1 lakh multiply by 0, then all the resulting factor will be 0. So definitely if any of these component is 0, the motivation will also be 0. For example, if an employee does not believe that effort lead to performance, or that performance lead to reward, or that the reward are desirable, they will not be motivated. So if an employee doesn't believe that effort doesn't lead to performance, or that the performance doesn't lead to reward, then definitely he will not be motivated, because he think that if I put more effort, and in this way my performance is boosted up, and at the end I didn't get a reward, then definitely his motivation will be zero. So if an employee doesn't believe effort lead to performance, or that performance lead to reward, or that the reward are desirable, they will not be motivated. So illustrative example is, suppose a teacher is offered a performance-based bonus. Expectancy is the teacher believes that putting in more effort, extra classes, better lessons plan will improve student results. It's the expectancy of a teacher that if we arrange extra classes, and he will introduce better lesson plans, that it will improve students result. And instrumentality is that the teacher trusts that the principal will actually grant the bonus if the results are improved. The teacher trust that the teacher has a belief that if the principal will actually grant the bonus if the result improve. And the valence is that the teacher value the bonus highly because it helps him personal financial goals. So teacher value the bonus because if he get the bonus, then his financial condition will be improved, his personal financial condition will be improved, and his personal financial goals will be achieved. So the teacher value the bonus highly because it helps with personal financial goals. If all three components are high, if the expectancy, if the instrumentality, and the valence, all of these three components are high, motivation to work harder will be strong. Definitely, if all these components are high, motivation to work harder will be strong. If even one component, say trust in management, is low, overall motivation decreases. If even one component, that the teacher doesn't have trust that the principal will actually grant the bonus, then it will definitely decrease the motivation, because decrease the motivation level, because if the teacher doesn't have trust or belief that the principal will given the fraud, or will grant the bonus or will not grant the bonus, if there is any confusion in the mind of the teacher, that it will definitely decrease the motivation level. So if any one component, say trust in management, is low, overall motivation decreases. So managerial implications. Room theory provides practical insight for managers to enhance employee motivation. So clarify performance expectation, make sure employees understand what is required to succeed, provide adequate resources, provide reasonable resources and training to employees, strengthen expectancy level by ensuring that employees feel that they are capable what they are suggested by the company to do well, what the company think that this employee is capable of, what the task is assigned to him, and establish clear performance reward linkages, reinforce instrumentality by ensuring consistent and fair reward system. So reinforce instrumentality means to strengthen the belief or perception that a specific performance or a specific behavior will lead to desired outcome or reward. So reinforce instrumentality means that means to strengthen the belief or perception that a specific performance or behavior will lead to desirable result, will lead to desirable outcomes, will lead to desirable rewards. So reinforce instrumentality by ensuring consistent and fair reward system, offer valued rewards, increases valence by understanding individual performance and needs, and build trust, ensure that the transparency in appraisal and reward distribution process. So there must be a transparency of a reward system, means the open and honest communication of how rewards are earned, allocated and structured, ensuring employees understand the criteria, processes and reasoning behind compensation and recognition. So ensure that the transparency in appraisal reward distribution is ensure that there must be a transparency in appraisal and reward distribution processes. So strength of the theory is that it recognizes individual differences in motivation, and it provides a logical quantitative model for understanding motivation. So logical model is a visual representation that shows the relationship between resources, activities and expected outcomes. So it shows the logical model is the relationship between resources, activities and expected outcome. So it often used to plan, implement and evaluate the program. So provide a logical provide a logical model that shows the relationship between resources, activities and expected outcomes. So it provides a logical model, quantitative model for understanding motivation. So it highlights the importance of cognitive process in decision making. So cognitive process are the mental tasks the brain performs. So cognitive process is the mental task that a brain performs to acquire, to process and to store information, enabling function like thinking, learning, memory, attention and problem solving. So it highlights the importance of cognitive process. It highlights the importance of cognitive process in decision making. And this theory is useful for designing effective reward and performance management system. So definitely this theory is very useful for designing effective reward and performance management system. So the limitation of this theory is, first is complexity, second is assumption of rationality, third is subjective perception, and fourth is limited to work setting. So first is complexity, that the complexity is that the theory multiplicative model can be difficult to measure accurately. So it can be, so the multiplicative model like that I have already described in my previous slides, that the motivation is equal to expectancy multiplied by valence multiplied by instrumentality. So this theory model can be difficult, might be difficult to measure accurately. And the second is assumption of rationality. So assumption of rationality means that people may not always act rationally or calculate motivation concisely. So act rationally means to make decision based on reasons and logic rather than emotion or impulsiveness. So so people may not always act rationally, may not always make decision based on reasons and logics, and might be possible they are making decisions based on emotions or impulsiveness. So people may not always act rationally or calculate motivation concisely. Concisely mean to express a lot of information in a few clear words and avoiding unnecessary details. So people may not always act rationally, and people may not calculate motivations concisely. So it is the drawback of the limitation. It is a limitation of this theory. And the third is subjective perception, that the expectancy, instrumentality, and valence are personal judgment that can vary widely. And the fourth is limited to work settings. The limited work setting means the model focuses mainly on workplace motivation and may not fully apply to non-work context. So this model focuses mainly on the workplace motivation and may not fully apply to non-work context, I mean non-working conditions, non-working environment. So the conclusion is that the Room's expectancy theory provides a powerful framework for understanding motivation as a cognitive process involving effort, performance, and reward expectation. So by aligning organizational reward with individual goals, when we when we when we set organizational goals according to the organizational rewards and ensuring fairness and clarity, and we have to ensure that fairness and clarity are present there, then the manager can significantly enhance employee motivation and performance. Then definitely the managers can, if the organizational reward system is according to the individual goals, and ensure that fairness and clarity are present in the system, then the manager can significantly enhance employee motivation and performance. Definitely is a very obvious statement. And in short, that effort leads to performance. Definitely, if any individual put a lot of effort, then it will definitely boost up his performance, and then the performance leads to reward. And if the performance of any individual boost up, then it would definitely leads to a better reward. And if the reward is valued by individual or employee, then the motivation will definitely increases. So it is a very straightforward and it's a very straightforward and obvious statement that the effort leads to performance, performance leads to reward, and reward is valued if the reward is valued by the employee. If the employee shows more values, if the employee has given more value to the reward, then it will definitely it increases the morale and confidence level of the individual, and will definitely increase the motivation level of the individual or employee. So you can see in the picture that the effort lead to performance and performance lead to the reward in shape of dollars mean in shape of money. So Room's expectancy theory is a belief that an individual effort will lead to a desired level of performance. So it represents the effort to performance link and is influenced by factors like an individual's self-confidence, individual self-confidence, individual skills, individual's knowledge, and individual's perceived control over a situation. So a key example is an employee believing that working extra hour will lead to successfully completing a project. So it is the individual perception of how likely their effort is to result in a specific performance outcome. Definitely, if a performance believe that if he work more in the organization, if he work or do extra times or making extra time for completing the project, then it will definitely increase the output of the company, and he will get a bonus or a reward in shape of money, and he will get, and definitely he will get promotion by the top level management, because the management is happy with that individual, that because he is working hard in the organization, he's a very industrious person. So definitely it is the individual perception of how likely their effort is to result in a specific performance outcome. Definitely, then he's loyal to the company. He is giving his giving lot of effort. He is giving his input to the company, and definitely, at the end, he will get the output. He will get the output. He will get the desired results, and when results are achieved, he will definitely get his reward. So it's all about my lecture. If you have any question, then make a comment in the comment box. And thanks for watching my video. And please subscribe my channel. See you in the next video.